In today's video, we're going to learn how to set up our accessibility workstation from within Foxit PDF Editor. Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump right in. Whenever I'm working with a file from within Foxit, the first thing I like to do is make sure my tags window is available. The fastest way to do this is to right-click in the little column area on the far left side of the screen and select tags. This will pull up the list of tags from this document. I'm also going to right-click and select pin tags. This will ensure that every time I open Foxit, that the tags button is there. If you don't do this step, it will probably go away the next time you launch Foxit. Now let's take a look at some of the common accessibility tools that we are going to need to learn how to use. If I select the accessibility button at the top of the toolbar, this brings up my options for auto tag document. We have the accessibility full check. This is where we can have the accessibility report. We can set up our document to be read properly with assistive technology. This is also where we can launch the popular reading order tool. This can sometimes be used to tag content in the document where it's not otherwise tagged. Now, if you wanted to run the action wizard to make the document accessible, you would do that by going to File and then Action Wizard. And the action list on the far right side that we're looking for is Make Accessible. And we could even do Make Accessible for PDF UA. I'm going to select that button, and then from here it's going to launch me into the Run Action area. So right now I could hit the Start button, and it's going to prompt me to put in a title, subject, author, and keywords. We could just put in like test for now and select OK. Then it's going to set the reading language of the document. We will say that it is English, even though it's English and Spanish. And then Foxit is now going to run this document through and display any associated alternate text. We will select OK. There is no figure information to display. We'll select OK. Now it's going to prompt us to save the file, and then we could test it using our other PDF accessibility checkers. We can also validate using the tags panel by walking the tags tree. Now this document is kind of interesting. It doesn't have a heading in it. This was just a practice sample file. But if we wanted to, we could instead run the auto tag document. Let's go ahead and select that button. So the document is already tagged, but yes, I would like to re-tag the document. Then we could select the tags button, and it put all of our content into P tags instead of the table tag. So my original tagging structure was actually ideal. Now, if we wanted to run the accessibility check, we could select accessibility and then select full check. This will run an automated scan of all the categories from within this document. We'll hit start checking, and then on the far left, we can see the results of our accessibility check. Now in this example, I am missing alternate text on my figures. I'm going to right click the option and select fix. This will pull up an alternate text box that I can add in my alt text. In this example, these are going to be decorative, so I'm simply going to select the decorative checkbox for each of these and move through them. Now, if our document had form fields and these were actual checkboxes, I would go to the form area of Foxit, and this is where we could add in our forms or run form field recognition. If we want to add in our document metadata, we could go to the File button and then select Properties. This will show us our title, our subject, the creator, author, producer, and keywords. You can also add in custom metadata. Additionally, we could set our initial view, and this is where we could change things like bookmarks and the page. For this example, I'm going to leave it on page only. Now, if you are making your documents accessible using Foxit, you're going to want to have the pre-flights option available. The fastest method I found to finding the pre-flight menu is to simply search for it in the search bar. So I'm going to do search and then type in pre-flight, and we could say add to quick access toolbar, and it's actually under the convert tab. Now it exists over here under pre-flight. This is often used for embedding fonts, adding the PDF UA identifier, etc. And what I like to do is simply leave it on PDF standards and then make sure your single fixed up option is selected, and then this is where you can search. So if we were doing like annotation where we need to create content entry for link annotations, we could select fix, and that's how you would use that tool. That concludes today's brief video on how to set up your workstation for accessibility using the Foxit PDF editor. If you want to try out Foxit for yourself, there's a link in the description of this video. And if you want to find out how I can help you get accessible, there's a link for that as well. And as always, I can be your champion for inclusion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.